Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Upper Key Stage 2, getting to know the Upper Key Stage 2 team presentation. We're really happy to see you all today and for you to join us. And we're looking forward to working with you all next year. I will start by just introducing our team. So first of all, I'm Mrs. Voller. I'm the head of phase for Upper Key Stage 2, which basically means that I oversee all of Year 5 and Year 6 as well. We then have Mr. Rogowski, who is going to be our head of Year 5 next year, and Mr. Ante, who will be our head of Year 6. As you can see here, we have got our email addresses, and after the presentation today, we will send out this presentation along with the recording so that you are able to access any information that we do have on our presentation today as well. So we'll start off just by discussing our school timings for next year. So if you're currently at the school, there are no changes, but if you are new to the school, you can see here Year 5 and 6 drop-off time is between 7:15 and 7:45. If your child arrives after 7:45, they do have to sign in at the primary reception, and they will be marked as being late. Now, those timings are for Monday to Thursday. So drop off between 7:15 and 7:45. Lessons will begin at 7:45. And the pickup time on a Monday to Thursday is 3:10 p.m. So at 3:10, the Year 5s and 6 students will make their way down to the pickup point. On a Friday, it is slightly different. The drop-off time remains the same. However, on a Friday, our pickup time is 12 p.m. So we do finish earlier on a Friday, and all students should be collected at 12 o'clock. The only exception to this is if the students have an ECA. Our ECAs from Monday to Thursday run from 3:15 to 4:10, and there are some ECAs on a Friday which run from 12 to 1. For those Year 4 parents, with the students coming into Year 5, our pickup is slightly different from what they have in Year 4. And for any new parents that are joining us, just to make you aware, we are trying to develop as much independence as possible with our Year 5 and 6 students and preparing them for secondary school, which means they will be released at the end of the day independently. They will make their way to either the Year 5 or the Year 6 designated pickup point, a parent meeting point. So if you want to arrange a different meeting point, I know that some parents pick up their students from the back pickup point from the school. So some of the Year 5 or 6 students make their way out to that area. That's absolutely fine as long as you've arranged that with your child. Or sometimes if they have a sibling that's in a lower year group, they will go to the lower pickup point. So for example, the Year 2 pickup point, the sibling from Year 5 and 6 would make their way to that point at the end of the day. However, we do understand that some of the students will be new to Year 5. They will not have done an independent pickup before. So for the first 2 weeks, the class teachers will accompany the students to the pickup point. And after that, they will be released from class independently. However, we do have all of our Year 5 and 6 teachers who will be allocated around the school and at the pickup points to ensure that the children are picked up. We do ask that the students do not go to the cafeteria or hang around the school at the football pitch at the end of the school day, as they will not be supervision in those areas. Also, for example, at this time of year, it's very hot, and I know lots of the kids just want to get out and play in the football field, but it can be a little bit too hot for them to go there. So if you are arranging for a pickup point in the cafeteria or on the football field, will not be an option. If you do decide that they will be collecting a sibling, so some of our year 5 and 6 students, again, developing that independence, go to a sibling and pick them up, and then take the sibling to an arranged pickup point that you have allocated. If that is the case, can I please just ask if you email the class teacher of both students, or it could be that you have 3 or 4 students, in the school, and one of the year 5 or 6s are picking them up, then if you just email the class teachers just to make them all aware that this will be happening, then that would be great. I know that some parents can be a little bit apprehensive and a little bit worried about the students doing an independent pickup, but believe me, we will make sure that all the students know exactly where they're going, and over the first 2 weeks we will be there to support them, to make sure that they can move around the school with the teachers, and then we gradually develop that independence with them as well. In our school, we follow the English National Curriculum. This is an example of our timetable. And on here, you can see that we have English every day. So we make sure that we are teaching our core subjects daily. We also have maths each day. And then we have science twice a week. On top of our core subjects, we also have something called Projects for Change. Our Projects for Change is where we cover all of our humanities. We look at specific projects. They can link to sustainability. They may link to history or geography, or they could incorporate all of these areas within the one topic as well. And we'll talk about those specific topics in a little bit. On top of that, we also have something called Moral, Social and Cultural Studies. This is a mandatory subject in the UAE, where we will cover all sort of a social studies side of that. And then we have our specialist lessons as well. So you can see here in year 6, the students have PE once a week, and they have swimming once a week as well. We have music, we have French and Spanish. So the students will have French for half of the year and Spanish for the second half of the year. It might be they have Spanish first and then they have French next, but you will be informed of that in the first week or 2 whenever they get their timetable. All students attend Arabic lessons, and we have Arabic lessons, you can see here, 3 times a week. Some students who are in our Arabic A will attend an extra session on top of that. And then those students who are Islamic will attend Islamic lessons twice a week. When they are at Islamic lessons, the non-Islamic students will do what we sort of do is revision. We cover anything, any gaps in their learning, anything like that. So that the Islamic students are not missing out on any core curriculum skills. It will all be revision and recap, and just looking at perhaps specific skills that the non-Islamic students need to focus on at that time. You will see on top of that, we have something called Grow Well, and each morning we focus on well-being. So each day or each week, there is a focus, whether it be about feelings or emotions. It may be about a specific feeling one week. It may be about friendships. But we will have a focus for the week, and each morning there'll be a task or a discussion that the students will have just to continue to really focus and develop their well-being, making the students as happy as possible when they come to school. So this is a sort of an idea of what the timetable would look like. You can see they have a break on Monday to Thursday in the morning, and they have lunch here at 11:45. On a Friday, we only have the one break in the morning because we do finish, as I said earlier, early on a Friday. I'm going to now pass you to Mr. Rogowski, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about our projects that we cover.
Okay, hi everyone. As Mrs. Boller said, we cover a number of projects in year 5 and 6 throughout the year. In year 5, we start off learning about ancient Greeks, and we work towards having an Olympic day where we invite you in to join in with your child's Olympic game, which they've designed and created. Then in the second term, we move on to a project which focuses on people who change the world, so inspirational people around the world, and the children create their own museum based on this person. So they will do a lot of writing, which is involved with that, some artwork as well, and then they present it all and create a speech and present it to the students and yourselves as well. In our third term, which we're doing at the moment, we are creating a sustainable city, which links to our sustainable development goals, where students are thinking about eco-friendly and sustainable ways where cities can be developed. And then as they move into year 6, again, keeping that sustainable link, their first project links a lot to the SDGs. And they have a project which focuses on Victorians, where they get the opportunity to experience a Victorian school day and also look at how things have been developed from the Victorian age to modern day technology, for example. In year 6 as well, they have a project about famous explorers, where they look at explorers around the world too. Running alongside this in year 6 and year 5, because they're reaching the top of the primary school, they have lots of opportunities for student leadership, so to get involved with responsibilities around the school. So at the moment, we've got students campaigning for head boy, head girl, and also the lead prefect roles as well as they move into year 6. So there's lots of opportunities for students to take on that responsibility as they reach the end of primary school. There is also some opportunities for entrepreneurship as well. So we have a Cookie Cubs Challenge where students market and sell cookies to raise money for a charity as well. So that's another project that they can get involved with too. So yeah, there's lots going on in year 5 and 6. Thank you. Just to talk to you a little bit about the key skills that we learned in year 5 and 6. So you can see on the screen that we've got core number skills in year 5 and 6. And across each term, we do consolidate a lot of the multiplication and division fact work, because this is a really good foundation for a lot of the other problem solving and reasoning work that we do in school. So we have a heavy focus on those in each term. And then as you can see there as well, it progresses up from year 5 to year 6 with the decimals and percentages as well. And just to ensure that students have got a really good foundation of number skills ready for their end of year assessments and mental arithmetic as well. Year 6 is focused a lot on consolidating the learning throughout Key Stage 2 as well. And yeah, so that's just an overview there, so 3 as well. Some reading skills as well. There is a year 5 and year 6 statutory spelling list which focuses on some words that children need to spell by the end of year 6. And throughout the year, they'll be tested on these spellings alongside some rule words as well. And in reading lessons, we focus on a number of skills. So, for example, vocabulary, where we look at different words, learn new vocabulary, find out the meaning, and use them in different contexts. Retrieving, so that's finding information in text to answer questions. Summarizing, which is picking out the main points in the text in order to explain it in a shorter way, ensuring that the person listening can get an overview of the story or text. Inference skills, which is a more difficult skill to master, which looks at reading between the lines, what is happening in the text, looking at the mood of the text, what characters are feeling, based on what they've read, but not what they've actually seen in the text. Prediction skills as well, which is something they're familiar with from lower down, but we develop that further, ensuring students are using evidence from the text and their prior knowledge of the text as well. And then making comments as well, and asking questions about what they think and why. Okay, we have lots of creative writing opportunities as well. Like I mentioned before, for example, in year 5, we write speeches. So that's a different way of presenting some writing work as well. So we have story writing units, we have speech writing, we have non-fiction units as well. So they have lots of opportunities to write in a creative way as well there too. We also encourage, because again, getting to the top of primary school, we expect high standards for our books and things. So we encourage students to develop a really clear, neat, cursive handwriting style. And we really want students to be proud of what they've produced as well. So on the screen is an example of one of our double-page spreads in year 5, which focused on Japan. So the students have gathered a lot of research and information, and then chosen their own way to present that learning in a neat and effective way as well. Okay, and we also teach things like ruler skills and things like that to ensure presentation is at least high standard too. And I'm going to pass over to Mr. Antti, who's going to talk to you through the next section. Oh, sorry, I'll finish this one. This one's me, isn't it? Yeah, so with preparing students for from the year 5 and 6, there is a home reading list which you'll get when this is sent out, which has got some text that you may want to read, get from the library or read with your children. There's a number of apps there that we have in school as well, which some of you will be familiar with. So if these apps are downloaded onto your child's iPad, that sets them off to a really good start. So we've got Seesaw, which is where we post some spellings and things like that for students to work on. And Timetable Rockstars is good for timetable practice. Upstrive, this is where we do all our well-being. So each day children check in on there and can tell their teacher what they're feeling, or if they've got any concerns that they don't want to talk about in person. So that's a really good tool for well-being as well. Century, that has got a number of units which children can work through, and it's AI generated, so it reacts to what the child is getting correct and incorrect and what they need to work on, and it will feed in extra work into their app, so it's always up to date with what they need to learn. And again, like Mrs. Boller said, we encourage independence for these sort of activities as well. So getting students to be independent with knowing what they need to complete, what homework they need to do, and managing those apps as well. Thank you. Now I'll pass over to you, Mr. Antti.
Thank you so much. Good morning. So following on from Mr. Galki, we encourage the students to bring in a device. So it's a bring your own device from year 3 upwards in school, and this is purely because we have lots of great educational apps, and we would encourage the use of those in school because it can maximise their learning opportunities. So as mentioned from Sir, there are many apps that we do use for homework. iPads, just to reassure you parents, aren't being used for gaming or just going online and having a bit of fun. We use these in a purposeful way and educationally. So they take them to their specialist lessons with them. When they're not needed, they are kept away in a tray. And when they are needed for the lesson, the children will have those to hand so that they can use those. The children will have a contract at the beginning of the school year, which will outline some rules on how we use these devices. As much as we're developing their independence, in terms of their own apps that they may have at home, we encourage that those apps are kind of kept separately in a little folder on their iPad so that there's no temptation to go in there. And with the contract, they will sign that just to say that they won't be using it to go onto these apps. They will use their device when instructed in school. And we also ask as well for your guidance and support with that as well at home. So the children, although they will have the device and they might have the messaging side of it on during the school day, we do ask that they have their devices set to do not disturb, so no notifications are coming through. We please also encourage that any communication that you need to pass on to your child, that will be sent through the teacher, and I will go through that shortly with you. So please, the messaging with the child, we do say to them not to message at home, to use this in school purely for educational reasons. Our priority is to keep the children safe online. So this is why we keep them away. We also ask with their device that they do bring in some headphones, because there may be opportunities where they will need to complete some tasks that they might need to listen to some spelling words or some mental maths, and therefore they'll need their headphones. Thank you. Sorry, Misty. Thank you. So in terms of uniform, so we have our uniform policy that is displayed on the screen for you here. All of our uniform can be bought from Threads, which is a store located across Dubai. So we encourage as well that all pieces of uniform that the children have does have their names labelled in there. As we said, if they're playing outside, they might have a cardigan on or a jumper. They might get a little bit hot and take it off and leave it by their lunch bag. And if it's not got the names on, they could easily get mislaid. So please, if you can make sure their uniforms labelled with their names. For the boys, you can just see here on the left-hand side, the children will wear a blue shirt and blue trousers. They will also have a tie with the colour of their team, their house team, which will be shared with you if you don't know that before you start with us in August. The girls wear a blue blouse. They can wear trousers, or there is like a skirt that they can wear too. And the girls will have a neck scarf, again in the colour of their houses. In terms of winter wear, or even when we have the AC on in the classroom, sometimes it can be a little bit chilly, so that we advise them to bring in a cardigan for the girls, and there is also a jumper if they would like to wear that, and the boys can wear the jumper too. Before we have had hoodies, and this is something more for PE, we don't ask the children to wear their hoodies in school, so it is the full jumpers and cardigans, please, in the classroom. And then moving on from that, we have our PE uniform, and the PE uniform, as you can see on here, we have the swimsuits for the girls with the WET branded logo on them as well. For the boys, there's some of their different shorts there that you can buy. Again, all of these PE kits have got the school colours on there for their houses. And then we have some of their t-shirts. So when it is their PE day, they will still come into school wearing their PE kit. And you can just see that here, it's being shown there with the different colours related to their house colours as well. Girls can also have a blue navy leggings in secondary, but not in primary. We ask them to wear their shorts. If they do would feel that they'd like to cover up, they can wear some leggings underneath their school shorts. With swimming, sorry, one last thing there, just notice we have the caps. So the swimming caps are really important to have in the swimming pool. Again, these are the WEC caps, so please make sure that they're packed in the bag when they have their swimming days as well. And finally, on the uniform front, these are some additional items, which some of them we find extremely useful. So the caps, for example, we kind of have a no hat, no field policy at lunch and break times, just with the weather being so hot and the temperature. We advise children to have their hats on them at break and lunch times so that they are protected in the heat. So you can see them on here. There are some which are just like your usual baseball caps again. The WEC caps in the colours of their houses, and the ones as well to the side that you can see here, we've got the ties. So there's some clip-on ties. You can also have the ties that they can fasten themselves as well with the girls' scarves. We've got some scrunchies, so if they're having bobbles, we do ask if it could be a navy blue colour, and same for the headbands. And you can see the socks and the tights here as well. So we ask for navy blue or white socks, and the girls can also wear tights if they feel comfortable with that. School shoes, we ask that all children come to school wearing plain black school shoes. We don't wear trainers, only white trainers on PE and swimming days. The rest of the time we're quite strict with our black school shoe. It's about looking smart, presentable, and getting them ready as well for that secondary journey. So there are some, if they feel like they can have laces, or if they're not ready yet, there's some shoes that you can have the Velcro straps as well. In terms of bags, one thing that's really important is that the children come to school with a Wellington school bag. Again, these are in the colours that are provided on the screen, representing houses. I know that in the past, some students have brought in their own school bag, or maybe even some wheelie bags, similar to the ones that you may see at the airports. But we do advise that the children have these rucksacks, these backpacks from WEC. They're the only ones that are permitted in primary school, just for their own safety. And they can fit everything in there, their PE kits, their books, and their iPads for school. And then finally here we have some contacts here, so you can see them on here. Once this gets sent out as well, you'll be able to easily find them. So we have the main reception desk here, so if anything's needed in terms of an early pickup, or there's a delivery to class, or there's something that the children, you would like the children to be informed of quite quickly, if you please email the reception as well as the class teacher, it just makes sure that that message can get passed on. For any school transport services, so if your child is going to be travelling by the bus, then this is the email, Mr. Samuel. You will find his email here, and you can message him with any queries regarding the bus fees or buses. And again, if it's something where the child maybe potentially isn't getting the bus that day, please also just CC the teacher into the email so we are aware that they won't be getting on the bus as well. With regards to attendance, if your child happens to be sick one day and they can't come to school, we do ask you to email this absence WEC email address to inform the school so we can update our registers. You can also CC the class teacher in as well if you need to know, but they do always let us know of any absences for your child. Any financial emails that you need to send can just be found here with Finance WEC. The medical team as well. So within our school, we do have a school clinic. So if you need to inform the school clinic of anything in terms of allergies or medication that your child may have come down with a fever and they need to have some regular medication, as well as letting the teacher know, please do email the clinic's address so that they can make sure that they look after the medicine and they can update any allergies there. We also have the Parent Relations Executive, and her email address is here as well. So for any information being shared, she will contact you and feel free to contact her too. And then we have the registration team and then the Government Relations emails address here. If in any need of contact, you can find those in both addresses. And in terms of parent communication in Year 5 and Year 6, every Friday you will receive a weekly email from your class teacher, your child's class teacher, with a little update about their school week, what they've been learning. And on that email as well, there'll be lots of important notices that will be sent over to you with anything that's coming up and on anything on a needs to know basis. So those weekly emails are really important, and your main source of communication will come from your class teacher, and you will get those every Friday before 12 o'clock, before that end of the school day. Emails as well, if you do need anything at all from us teachers, you have any queries, there's something you feel that we should know, we are all contactable by email. Please do feel free to email us and we will get back to you within 24 hours with that request. In terms of social media, we do post on social media quite a lot. We will share actually our Year 5 and our Year 6 Instagram pages with you, so you can follow those, and we try and keep those updated every week so that you can have a little insight into the classroom, see some of the fun activities that the children are doing that week. In case you need to book any meetings with your class teachers or any of the specialist teachers, you can feel free to do so. We can meet you face to face. We can have a Zoom meeting as we are doing so now, and you can also contact us by phone. So if you need to email us, that's absolutely fine, and we can arrange a phone call that's best suited for you. Every term we have reports that are sent out as well, just to keep you updated on your child's progress and attainment. And at the end of the year, you have a very thorough report that is sent out to outline how they're getting on as well. And we have lots of student-led conferences too, where you'll be invited into school to see some of the students' work. You may be coming in to have a look at their books. And as Mr. Rogowski said, when we have some nice themed events coming on, you may be encouraged to come in and take part and have a look at some of the things we are doing as well. So we will send through those things for you. And we also have parents' evenings too, which will be termly, where we will keep you updated with that. Just the last thing on that page as well about the parent WhatsApp groups. These are a great way for you all to get together to socialise and share any important information. However, please do always refer back to the weekly email sent for your teacher. This is the main official communication that will be sent, and the WhatsApp groups are purely just to keep each other in the loop with anything needed there. Thank you. Oh, Miss Boller,
Sorry, I hadn't unmuted myself there. Just ending with some top tips and reminders of what was covered today. One of the things that we do is we take great pride in our presentation. So full uniform should be worn. And the uniform policy must be followed. So we encourage that uniform policy and for students to be well presented when they come to school. Children can come to school in their PE kits on PE day, and they can bring in their swimming kit to change on a swimming day as well. Swimming in the primary school is mixed gender from FS1 to year 6. And we do have separate changing rooms for the students. Sorry. Just a reminder to label, as Mr. Ante said earlier, label all items. We have lots of students who lose. I've lost my voice.
It's okay, I'll take over. So we have lots of students, as Miss Boller saying, that may end up losing some of their items. We do have a lost and found area where these will be located, but if the items are not labelled with their names, their uniforms, their hats, their belongings, it's really hard to identify which belongs to which child. So we really do encourage that as well. As I mentioned as well about the hats, is just to make sure that the children bring in their hats every day for outdoor playtimes, just to keep them safe and to make sure they're protected once they're out on the fields. 100% attendance is required. We do understand that children may have illnesses throughout the year, but if they are unfortunately absent for any reason, please do inform us before 7:30 so that we can make sure that we update our registers and we're in the know. With the pick-up and drop-off times, we do try and encourage you please to arrive to school on time so that they're not missing any of that learning. And for at the end of the day as well, just to make sure that the children are collected just at the end of the day on time. That we do have a few other schools nearby, so it can be quite busy at the front of the school. So we do encourage to try and get here a little bit before the school day starts and just before school ends to try and arrive so you can get your spot and get your children easily and make your way back home. If there are any medical issues, as we said, we do have a school doctor on site. Please do inform them, use the email address that was on the previous slide just to let them know of any medical issues so we can update the teachers of this and make sure we have everything in place to support your children. And as it says on there, please do try and contact your class teacher before 11 o'clock if the children are not going on the bus and you are picking them up. It just means we have that heads up in time before the end of the school day and in case they have specialists, so we can inform those children. If obviously circumstances change and you need to let us know before, it is really appreciated before the end of the day, just so we know that they can get to their correct pickup spot.
Thank you very much, Miss Sarante, for taking over there. I've got a bit of a tickle in my throat. Well, just to end by saying thank you very much for joining us today.